So I wanted to take a little bit of time to let you guys see kind of an inside look at who I am, and what I do, and kind of where I came from. At the end of the day, I am another agent just like you that is trying to share a skill that I picked up over, actually, I guess it's close to a decade now working with investors. I started back in 2003 is when I got licensed. And I realized pretty quick that I was a little atypical in the sense that I didn't like necessarily doing a lot of relational advertising, took a lot of listing appointments and things like that, but it seemed like a slow process to me, to get to work with customers and get from A to B, to get from A, meeting somebody, to walking them through to the trust level they needed to be, to contract on a deal, and then take it to closing and everything. And so early on, I struggled a little bit with that. And I realized that I needed to be different in the way I approached the business. I was much more analytical, much more of a business-minded kind of a person maybe. And so I wanted to find a way to make that mesh with being a real estate agent. So I gravitated pretty quickly to working with investors. And that was very good for me because what I realized was when I was working with investors who saw this as a business and it was a numbers game and a volume game, I was able to really dig into the nuts and bolts of how investors think and what makes them buy a deal and what their margins need to be and all of those kinds of things. And so my first year in the business did really poorly. I think I closed one deal in the first 12 months, and that was in like month 12, getting over a hump. But the second year I was Rookie of the Year in my RE/MAX office, and what I realized was I just needed to kind of figure out a way to be entrepreneurial and do it my way. So I started working with investors and I started attending investment clubs. I started analyzing the MLS, looking for deals, at least what I saw at that time as deals. And I took some of those printouts and started meeting with some investors. And what I found pretty quickly was that they had a certain way of thinking about things. And I hadn't considered all of the variables that go into making a deal for them. And I also found out there's many different kinds of investors. Everybody from, of course, a buy and hold investor to a wholesaler who's really just assigning contracts for a fee. And then there's the fix and flippers and people that get involved in commercial and all kinds of things, in development, spec homes, etc. And so I got to know a little bit about a lot of these things. And as I moved forward in working with a lot of investors, I became a listing agent for a lot of fix and flippers. I really got good at the creative process of selling, of learning how to design a home in its remodel process and then stage it properly for a future sale. And we had a really good record of listing homes and getting them sold. I mean, within the first few days, many times, of putting them on the market. And what I learned through all of that was really sort of the heart of what a deal is and how to take it from being this ugly house that very few people want to deal with to getting it to a point where it's so appealing to a mass market that it's going to sell really quickly. Okay, and so I started working with the fix and flippers, moved rapidly on to becoming one myself. And I started doing my own designs and my own flips and secured my own funding and that kind of thing. But what I ran into at that point after, a couple of good years, is it really started to become a struggle for me to manage the projects the way that I wanted to, because finding good, reliable people to work with was hard. And so I've sort of come full circle now to this point where I'm working with wholesalers because they're not doing the management, they're not doing the fix and flips. Instead, I am working as sort of an acquisitions guy and feeding them deals. They're making a wholesale fee, and I'm making, of course, a real estate commission. And this has turned out to be a very efficient way to do business. I'm able to do analysis because I'm good at that, and then I'm able to feed them the deals. And they're basically my sales force. They go out with their list of buyers that they've been working with for a long time, and they sell them the property, and we all benefit from it. And of course, those guys benefit as well because at the end of the day, they're flipping it and they're making a profit too, and the buyer's getting a wonderful product. At least I hope they are. So on the end of that, I want to just tell you that I've had my hands in this stuff for a long time. And there are ways to do it right, and there are absolutely ways to do it wrong. And I have a record of financial transactions to prove that last point. So we're to the point now where I really can show you how to set up a portion or even all of your business in such a way that you can work with wholesalers in an efficient manner, understand how they think, and be able to get deals executed, get them closed so that you can make some money and they can too. And that's really what this course is about. For me personally, I want to tell you, I am a Christian. I have been a Christian for the majority of my life. I was married to my beautiful wife, Trish, back in 1998. We have 2 boys. One of them, Caleb, is 16 now, and Josiah is he's 9 years old now. And we adopted him when he was 2 from China, actually. We had some problems in the area of having kids, but it's been such a blessing for us to be able to go down that road. And I want to share with everybody what a good life I'm able to have because of what's going on in this business. I live in the mountains of Colorado now. I'm able to work part-time, spend time and money on the things that are important to me and my family and in my faith, and I really I have a blessed life. And I'm not saying that as a sales gimmick or anything like that. In today's world and the technologies that we're able to utilize, I really believe, especially in real estate, where there are margins all over the place to make money, I really believe this is a fantastic business to be in. And I hope that you can join with me, at least in this facet of what I'm doing, and benefit from that. And I can show you how to do that. It's really not very complicated. It's just a matter of setting up the right business systems and understanding the way investors think so that you can work profitably with them. So that's a little bit about me. I hope that maybe someday in the future we'll be able to chat somehow. But until then, I'll sign off and thank you for taking the time to watch the video.